Man, it's already time for a spring list, eh? These are my top 10 fragrances for the spring, on the more high-end side of things. Picking a good spring fragrance is about exemplifying the snow melting, the flowers blooming, the sun coming out, the rebirth of the planet through the changing in the season. I already put out a designer fragrance list if you want to check that out later on. But for now, let's get into my top 10 high-end fragrances. At number 10, we have Galloway by Parfums de Marly. One of the notes I like to reach for in the springtime is a nice, clean, musky fragrance, because it tends to work really well with my skin, and a clean musk is a little more uplifting than an animalic, dirty musk, which is more suited for cold weather. What makes this great for the springtime, though, is it's a clean musk combined with a citrus orange accord. It's a pretty interesting pairing of notes that is rather uplifting, suitable for the spring weather, and like Parfums de Marly fragrances usually do, it performs, lasts a long time, and projects pretty nicely throughout its lifespan. I have it at number 10 because it's not necessarily a mass appealing fragrance, and it doesn't have a notable floral quality that may make it more spring friendly, but it's one of those Parfums de Marly fragrances that gets ignored. Check it out. Number 10, Galloway. My number 9 spring niche fragrance is Scent of Peace for Him by Bond No. 9. The pineapple that you would find in perhaps Aventus or bondnumber9.com, but it has a little more vanilla. It's a little creamier. Why I reach for this in the springtime is because there's no overt smokiness in here. It is definitely on the fresher side of things, the more uplifting side of things. The smokiness of Aventus and a lot of the Aventus impersonators tends to work in the summer, but smoke is more so suitable for fall and even winter time. The sweet fruitiness in here almost gives it a bit of a floral quality to it, which I love wearing in the spring. I also find it a little bit too sweet to wear it in the high summer heat, so springtime is perfect for me. I have it at number 9 because it's not the most creative fragrance. Yeah, Bond No. 9 does things a little bit differently in the pineapple genre of fragrances, but it's still one of them pineapple fragrances. At number 9, Bond No. 9. My number 8 spring niche fragrance is Green Irish Tweed by Creed. All things considered, this is a phenomenal spring fragrance. Lemon verbena, ivy leaf, it has a fresh green quality to it that is made for the spring. That being said, if you're watching this video, you've probably watched a lot of other fragrance videos out there, and you've seen this fragrance recommended so much, especially around the springtime. That's why I'm hesitant to put it higher on the list, because Green Irish Tweed is a little played out. It's being marketed as the ultimate spring fragrance, as a fragrance that is just the one to get no matter what, when really it's a pretty darn good green fragrance that works better on a more mature man in more sophisticated environments. If you haven't smelled this, give it a try, but try and be objective about your opinion of it. It's not a Swiss Army knife fragrance, it's not blind buy worthy, it's very good, but it just couldn't be any higher on my list. Of all the colognes that I've ever smelt, Verbena Fields is the best one. At number 8, Green Irish Tweed. You mad? At number 7, from Acqua di Parma, Cedro di Taormina, a wonderful blend of lemon and woods. Cedro di Taormina is an example of the sum being greater than its parts, because citrus and woods has been done quite a bit, but not to this effectiveness. When it comes to spring, I gravitate towards green fragrances, floral fragrances, anything that reminds me of nature. And the cedar wood in here is very authentic. It really smells like actual cedar wood, but it's combined with beautiful citrus, which represents the sun coming up and the summer season approaching us. Wonderful transition fragrance from spring to summer. In fact, one of my favorites for that specific occasion. It's only number 7 though because it doesn't really suit the cooler spring days, and there's quite a few of them, but when the temperature starts to rise, this is a banger. And that was Cedro di Taormina, dudes. Number 6, from the house of Xerjoff, Mephisto. Mephisto is an excellent niche fragrance for the spring, because it has a lot of similarities to one of the more versatile Creed fragrances in Silver Mountain Water, which is a metallic, futuristic, classy, sandalwood musky fragrance. Mephisto has more sweetness and definitely more florals to it. Florals, it screams spring. So not only do you have a versatile fragrance in Mephisto, but you have one that represents the blooming, blossoming flowers of the springtime. It just misses the number 5 spot because I'm not too crazy about the scent DNA, but I do love wearing it in the springtime, and it will work on a lot of people. Number 6, Mephisto. My number 5 high-end springtime fragrance is Panda from Zoologist Parfums. This fragrance was reformulated in 2017, and that's the version I have right here. Being a zoologist fragrance, there is an animal theme here, and this fragrance is a little bit animalistic, which gives it some character. But the main player in this fragrance is a beautiful, crisp, green apple. It truly has a lot of dimensions to it, which is why I always gravitate towards this one, especially in the springtime. The animalic quality is not in the forefront, it's just present enough to ground the fragrance so that it doesn't go into green Jolly Rancher territory. Part of me also smells a bit of a jungle, like there is a green quality to it in regards to vegetation, perhaps a bamboo shoot of sorts. It really is a beautiful creative fragrance, and of all the zoologist fragrances that I've worn, Panda tends to get quite a few compliments. But that being said, for the springtime, Panda is my number 5 fragrance because my top 4 are just bangers, man. Panda. At number 4, from the House of Creed, Himalaya. I am known for speaking on Himalaya's versatility. This is easily one of my top candidates for signature scent in the House of Creed. However, the transition from spring to summer is where Himalaya is phenomenal. A really well-crafted fragrance that doesn't have any notes that stick out and jump out at you. And like I was mentioning earlier with Galloway, I do like clean, musky fragrances in the spring. It has a refreshing and cooling, uplifting feel to it. The reason I have it at number 4, however, is there are other fragrances that just do a better job at screaming spring at me. Number 4, Himalaya. My number 3 high-end spring fragrance is, from the House of Imaginary Authors, The Soft Lawn. This is one of the most authentic, warmer weather green fragrances I've ever come across. Imaginary Authors do a very good job at painting a creative picture with their fragrances. The fragrance itself contains ivy leaves, vetiver, and oak moss, a lot of green notes, which makes sense because it feels green, but it smells exactly what the title is. A beautiful green, fertilized lawn, full enough to make the entire neighborhood jealous. It is truly an example of amazing artistic expression, not only by the perfumer, but by you for deciding to wear it and when to wear it. And in my opinion, the best time to wear this fragrance is definitely the spring. In fact, it's one of my kings of spring, but it's only my 3rd king. We got 2 more to go. Crazy, right? And that was The Soft Lawn. My number 2 favorite high-end spring fragrance is Elephant by Zoologist Parfums. My 2nd zoologist on this list. How I love Elephant. It actually smells like you are amidst a vast jungle. The signature zoologist animalic property is not very noticeable in here. I just literally started it. I'm just bombarded with beautiful, authentic, green, slightly woody, definitely floral accords that help create this picture in my brain of these elephants drudging through this jungle, this rainforest, even though they're mostly in the desert. It's such a joy to wear. Elephant is also paradoxical because the notes themselves, they're not heavy by any means, but it is a performer. This fragrance lasts many hours on my skin and has heavy projection for the first 3 to 4 hours. I put 2 sprays of this fragrance on, and my friend came in the room about an hour after I applied it, and he's like, "Whoa, you smell really good, dude. No homo." And that's awesome because I love when artistic, creative fragrances also get compliments. Checks both boxes. But the reason it's not number 1 is because there's one fragrance that is the king of spring for me. At number 2, Elephant. If you've been enjoying this list so far and you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that and click that notification bell so that you get reminded every time I put out new content. My number 1 fragrance, I've owned it since it first released. It's a beautiful fragrance that can be worn by men or women equally. Like a lot of the other fragrances on this list, it does have clean musk as one of the prominent notes, and it's just absolutely magic in how it starts and how it develops, how it changes, and how it dries down. Phenomenal fragrance. I will take this fragrance to the grave. No matter what you guys say about it, it is one of my bays. My number 1 high-end spring fragrance for 2019 is Boy by Chanel. I was really truly torn about my top 3. They're the 3 fragrances that I always wear in the spring. Boy is just on another level. It has the elegance that you want in a Chanel fragrance. It's really a lavender, geranium, sandalwood, musk fragrance, but the way it comes together and the way that it changes and develops, it really exemplifies me, because I am a boy, a very proud boy that likes nice things and perhaps has funny mannerisms. I got hair on my chest, maybe too much information, but I also have a massive perfume collection. So there is a bit of a duality in me, just like there is in boy. Fantastic fragrance, guys, whether you're a female or a male or non-binary, undecided, pansexual. I guess sexuality doesn't matter, it's more gender identification. Anyway, I'm still learning. But boy, oh boy, boy is my favorite high-end spring fragrance at number 1. So now you guys know why I wasn't specifically saying niche fragrances, because Chanel technically isn't a niche house, even though this is very high-end, very exclusive, and very expensive. What are some of your favorite spring fragrances? Niche or designer? I'm curious. These have all been my opinion. If you're mad about it, especially this one, let me know. I have my opinion and you can get your own. Oh man, guys, I tell ya, these videos, it's hard work, man. If you haven't yet seen the designer spring list, check it out right now. And if you want to watch more top 10s, there's a list down there and some other content there. Go for it.